For an electronic pet door, several transmitter and receiver kit options exist. Firstly, consider the RFD900, a wireless transmitter and receiver kit. This kit includes a transmitter module and receiver module that operate at 915 MHz. They offer a range of up to 300 feet and can be easily integrated with other devices. Secondly, there are JF-434 wireless RF transmitters and receivers. These modules operate at 433 MHz and provide a reliable wireless connection. They come in a variety of configurations, including transmitters with built-in antennas. Thirdly, ESP32-based Bluetooth Low Energy (BLE) modules are another option. ESP32 modules are popular for home automation and Internet of Things projects. They include Bluetooth capabilities which can be used to create a transmitter or receiver system for a pet door. Regarding control circuit design, the 555 timer chip can be used to create a delay or timing circuit. In this case, it can be used to regulate the door opening and closing sequence. However, using it may not be necessary if a microcontroller is used for control. A relay is a suitable choice for controlling the door's motor. It can handle the 120 volts power required to open the door. A programmable logic device (PLC) is a specialized controller often used in industrial settings. It may be overkill for this project. A transistor, such as a bipolar junction transistor, could be used as a simpler alternative to a PLC. It can be used to switch the relay on and off. Several additional considerations are needed. A suitable power supply will need to be provided for the transmitter, receiver, and control circuit. The transmitter and receiver should be housed in weatherproof enclosures to protect them from the elements. The door mechanism itself will need to be designed and built. This includes the motor, gears, and frame. If you opt for a microcontroller-based solution, you can program it to customize the door's behavior, such as the delay before opening and closing, and incorporate other features like a security code or remote access via a mobile app. Various programming languages and development environments are available for this purpose, such as Arduino or Python. To elaborate on the RFD900, a wireless transmitter and receiver kit, it's crucial to consider the antenna design. The antenna significantly impacts the range and reliability of the wireless communication. Ensure the antennas are properly oriented and positioned for optimal performance. Also, consider the power requirements for both the transmitter and receiver modules. These modules typically require a specific voltage, often 3.3 volts or 5 volts, and it's important to provide a stable and clean power source to prevent malfunctions. The JF-434 wireless RF transmitters and receivers offer a cost-effective solution for short-range wireless communication. When using these modules, pay attention to the data rate and modulation scheme. Lower data rates generally provide better range and reliability. Additionally, consider the antenna impedance matching to ensure maximum power transfer between the transmitter and the antenna. Mismatched impedance can result in signal loss and reduced range. ESP32 modules are highly versatile and offer a wide range of features beyond Bluetooth LE. These modules include built-in Wi-Fi capabilities, allowing for seamless integration with home networks and cloud services. When using ESP32 for pet door project, consider implementing security measures to prevent unauthorized access. This can include encryption and authentication protocols. For the 555 timer chip, it's important to understand its different operating modes, such as astable, monostable, and bistable. For a pet door application, the monostable mode is typically used to generate a time pulse to control the door opening and closing sequence. The timing duration can be adjusted by selecting appropriate resistor and capacitor values. A relay acts as an electrically controlled switch, allowing a low voltage signal to control a high voltage circuit. When selecting a relay for a pet door project, ensure it's rated for the voltage and current of the door's motor. Also, consider the relay's coil voltage and choose a relay that's compatible with the control circuit's voltage. A transistor can be used as a switch to control the relay. A bipolar junction transistor, BJT, or a MOSFET metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor can be used for this purpose. The transistor's base or gate is connected to the control signal, and when the signal is applied, the transistor turns on, allowing current to flow through the relay coil. While a PLC might be overkill for a simple pet door project, it offers advanced control capabilities and flexibility. PLC are typically programmed using ladder logic or other programming languages. If you're familiar with PLC programming, you can implement complex control algorithms and integrate various sensors and actuators. When choosing a power supply, ensure it can provide sufficient current to power all the components, including the transmitter, receiver, control circuit, and doors motor. A regulated power supply is recommended to provide a stable and consistent voltage. Weatherproof enclosures are essential to protect the electronic components from moisture, dust, and extreme temperatures. Choose enclosures that are rated for outdoor use and provide adequate protection against the elements. The door mechanism is a critical aspect of the pet door project. It should be designed to be reliable, durable, and safe for pets. Consider using a geared motor to provide sufficient torque to open and close the door. Also, incorporate safety features such as a slip clutch or current limiting to prevent injury to pets. When programming a microcontroller for a pet door project, you can implement various features such as adjustable delay times, security codes, and remote access via a mobile app. The possibilities are endless, and you can tailor the pet door's behavior to your specific needs. Consider using a real-time clock (RTC) module to implement time-based control features, such as automatically locking the door at night. When integrating a security code feature, consider using a keypad or RFID radio frequency identification reader to authenticate users. You can also implement encryption algorithms to protect the security code from being intercepted. For remote access via mobile app, you can use a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connection to communicate with the microcontroller. You can then use a mobile app to control the pet door and monitor its status. When designing the pet door, consider the size and weight of your pet. The door should be large enough for your pet to easily pass through, but not so large that it compromises security. The door should also be lightweight enough for your pet to open and close it without difficulty. Consider using a magnetic latch to keep the door closed when not in use. This will prevent drafts and keep unwanted animals out. When installing the pet door, ensure it's properly aligned and secured. A misaligned door can be difficult to open and close, and a loose door can be a security risk. Test the pet door thoroughly after installation to ensure it's functioning properly. Check the range of the transmitter and receiver, the timing of the door opening and closing sequence, and the functionality of any additional features. Regularly inspect the pet door for wear and tear. Check the door mechanism, the hinges, and the weather stripping. Replace any worn or damaged parts to maintain the pet door's functionality and security. Consider adding a safety sensor to the door to prevent it from closing on your pet. This can be an infrared sensor or a pressure sensor. If the sensor detects an obstruction, the door will stop closing and reverse direction. When selecting electronic components for a pet door project, choose components that are rated for the operating temperature range. Outdoor temperatures can vary significantly, and it's important to use components that can withstand these temperature extremes. Also, consider the power consumption of the electronic components. Choose components that are energy efficient to minimize power consumption and extend battery life. When designing the control circuit, consider using surge protection devices to protect the electronic components from voltage spikes and surges. Voltage spikes can damage sensitive electronic components, so it's important to provide adequate protection. Consider adding a battery backup system to the pet door. This will ensure that the pet door continues to function during power outages. A battery backup system can be as simple as a rechargeable battery and a charging circuit. When choosing a battery, consider its capacity and discharge rate. The battery should be able to power the pet door for several hours during a power outage. Consider adding an indicator light to the pet door to indicate its status. This can be a simple LED light emitting diode that indicates whether the door is open or closed. You can also use a more complex display to show additional information, such as the battery voltage or the signal strength of the wireless connection. When designing the pet door, consider the aesthetics. The pet door should blend in with the surrounding environment and not be an eyesore. You can paint the pet door to match the color of your house or use decorative trim to enhance its appearance. Consider adding a pet identification system to the pet door. This will allow you to track your pet's movements and prevent unauthorized access. A pet identification system can be as simple as an RFID tag or as complex as a facial recognition system. If you're using an RFID tag, you can attach it to your pet's collar. The pet door will then read the RFID tag when your pet approaches and open the door if the tag is authorized. If you're using a facial recognition system, the pet door will use a camera to identify your pet's face and open the door if the face is recognized. Consider adding a logging system to the pet door. This will allow you to record when your pet enters and exits the house. A logging system can be useful for tracking your pet's behavior and identifying any potential problems. The log data can be stored on a memory card or transmitted to a remote server. When designing the pet door, consider the noise level. The pet door should operate quietly so as not to disturb your neighbors or your pet. You can use sound dampening materials to reduce the noise level. Consider adding a remote control to the pet door. This will allow you to open and close the door remotely, even if you're not at home. A remote control can be useful for letting your pet out or in when you're away. When designing the pet door, consider the safety of children. The pet door should be designed so that children cannot easily open it or get trapped inside. You can use a child-proof latch to prevent children from opening the door. Consider adding a warning label to the pet door to advise people of the potential hazards. The warning label should be clearly visible and easy to read. When designing the pet door, consider the local building codes. The pet door should comply with all applicable building codes. You may need to obtain a building permit before installing the pet door. Consider consulting with a qualified electrician or contractor to ensure that the pet door is installed safely and correctly. A professional can help you with the wiring, plumbing, and other aspects of the installation. Consider documenting the pet door project. This will help you to remember what you did and make it easier to troubleshoot any problems. The documentation should include a schematic diagram of the control circuit, a list of the components used, and instructions for assembling and installing the pet door. Consider sharing the pet door project with others. This will help to inspire others to build their own pet doors and contribute to the open source community. You can share the project on a website, a forum, or a social media platform. When designing the pet door, consider the long-term maintenance requirements. The pet door should be designed so that it is easy to maintain and repair. You should use durable materials that will withstand the elements. You should also provide access to the electronic components for maintenance and repair. When designing the pet door, consider the environmental impact. The pet door should be designed to be energy efficient and environmentally friendly. You should use recycled materials whenever possible. You should also dispose of any electronic waste properly. Consider adding a donation button to the pet door project. This will allow people to donate to support the project and help to keep it running. You can use a platform like PayPal or Patreon to accept donations. Consider adding a disclaimer to the pet door project. This will protect you from liability if someone is injured or damages property as a result of using the pet door. The disclaimer should state that you are not responsible for any damages or injuries that may occur.